Lesson 3: The Changing Global Landscape for the 21st Century Teachers. Learning outcomes. Identify the different changes occurring in the global teaching learning landscape. Identify the 21st century life and career skills for learners and teachers. D. Demonstrate understanding of UNESCO 4 pillars of learning as they apply to the 21st century. In this lesson 3 is about the changing global landscape in teaching and learning brought about by factors such as learning environment, content, and processes of learning, types of learners, and other parameters of learning in the 21st century. It is also present how these changes will be addressed by the principle underpinning the UNESCO pillars of learning: learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, and learning to live together, from the Delors Report on Learning, The Treasure from Within, UNESCO 1992. The Changing Global Landscape and the 21st Century Skills for Teaching. We are in the era of borderless flat world. Barriers have been broken by the new information and communication technologies. As future teachers of the 21st century, there is an urgent need to understand the new landscape that is brought about by changes in leaps and bounds of century. The development of the 21st century is a necessary tool for the teachers. Zhu 2006, as I mentioned in CMEO and Nothic 2011, there are some key categories in different changes and development in the 21st century teaching and learning. To understand the categories, we will attempt to: first, describe the new learning environment. Second, identify the new learning contents. 3. Explain the new processes of learning and how this will be facilitated. 4. Describe the new type of learners. And last, describe the new type of teachers. In the new learning environment, the idea of learning environment has broadened from the confines of the four walls of the classroom to places and spaces that support learning. It is a place where interaction of the learners among one another, with the teachers and the surrounding happen. It is characterized by the following: learner-centered, new spaces and borderless, enhanced opportunity for creativity and innovation, and the last, the use of ICT. The new learning contents. With the new learning environment and the explosion of knowledge, content or subject matter of learning has been modified from a specific discipline or subject area. Subject matter of learning has the following characteristics: integrated or interdisciplinary, demand-driven, emphasis on learning tools on how to retrieve knowledge, and the last, the balance of scientific, technological, and cultural, global, and local concepts. The new processes of learning and how this will be facilitated. With advancement in this study of the mind and cognition, various processes of learning involved with human intervention of teachers and peers as well as non-human intervention of artificial intelligence or AI of robots. These include the idea of multiple ways of learning which can be mediated by the following. Face-to-face. When learners and teachers are confined in the same learning space at the same time with the teachers facilitating learning. Distance learning. When teaching learner is mediated by traditional or modules in print or modern technology, on the line or offline, without the physical presence of the teachers in a virtual class. It can be synchronous or asynchronous. Blended modalities. When teaching and learning is facilitated through face-to-face or distance learning, which enable to the teachers and learners to have both physical presence or physical absence in the teaching-learning process. Experiential and lifelong. When learners are immersed into a real-time situation such that learning becomes more authentic and meaningful. The types of learners. The new breed of learners does not have age boundaries. Learners maybe are in informal and formal or informal settings. The new type of learning is a confident person who thinks independently and critically and who communicates effectively. Self-directed and who questions, reflects, and takes responsibility for his or her own learning. A concerned citizens informed about the world and local affairs, has a strong sense of civic responsibilities and participates actively in improving the lives of others. A member of the new generation, pop culture, different ways of thinking, responding. The new types of learners are those coming from diverse background, multicultural, and multi-generational, as coming from different age group of lifelong learners. In order for every learner to address the challenges of the century, he or she has to develop life and career skills. Life and career skills are enhanced in school as a part of the learning outcomes. Life and career skills, flexibility and adaptability. Learners adapt to various roles, responsibilities, and schedules. Despite that conflict condition, they are able to do the different tasks at one time. Recognition of this potential will be a signal to the teacher to provide all learners an opportunities to develop their individual potential of being adaptable and flexible. Rigidity runs counter to the development of the skills. Initiative and self-direction. A self-directed learner demonstrates life and career skills. Goals are set and managed by themselves. There is a commitment of learning as long life process. Many of the young learners are capable of doing this without being told. They take initiative. They do not need to be given detailed instruction. They plan and work out their plans. Like learners, the teacher should also able to possess the same skills and social and cross-cultural skills. These life and career skills require learners to develop or to respect cultural differences and work effectively with others, to be open-minded to the different ideas in order to innovate and improve quality of work. If one understands of the other's culture, it will be easy to respect. This respect may spring from ignorance and bias. To be able to appreciate the mores, tradition, history of others, one needs to be open and willing to accommodate and comprise. Productivity and accountability. Individuals who possess these skills are able to produce results. They respect teamwork and cooperation. They manage time very well and can do multitask. The most tangible proof that one has done something is the product or the result. It can be an idea or a material product. When one is tasked to do something, the person has an accountability to produce results as evidence or a job done. Better results are accomplished if done together through collaboration and cooperation. Leadership and responsibility. Good learners are interpersonal and problem-solving skills, with integrity and ethical behavior to influence and guide others. Leadership and responsibility are life skills that should be developed by all learners and teachers. Leadership is not assigned, it is earned. As the saying goes, leaders are born, but they can also be made. The new type of teachers. As the teachers are currently preparing students for jobs and technologies that don't even exist yet, the challenge then is to produce the new type of teachers. The teachers for the 21st century learners teach within the context of new environment, the new content of knowledge, and new process of teaching and learning. The new type of teachers must possess the following characteristics. A. Clear standards and accountability, and their learners should be know and be able to do at the end of their schooling. Use broad pedagogies, including inquiry-based learning, cooperative learning, and other pedagogies. Skillful in the integration of ICT in the pedagogy. Skillful in the use of assessment to guide teaching and learning. Great understanding of local and global cultures. Skillful in action, research to diagnose and solve classroom problems based on evidence. Practice the core values of inspiring them, and last, develop life and career skills for the 21st century and beyond. UNESCO's 4 Pillars of Learning from Delors Report. Learning, a treasure from within. Our common future will depend on the degree to which we all become better world citizens. Through the huge of changes that take place in our world, we must be asked of schools and teachers. Hence, there are the greater demand to cope, strike, and balance between what is unchanging and what is changing. UNESCO's 4 pillars of learning are learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, learning to live together. Learning to know. It implies thirst for knowledge and acquisition of such knowledge. It is a learning how to learn throughout one's life. After completing formal education, there should be a great desire to gain more understanding of the world and the other people. An individual who is knowledgeable is literate. Being literate is always related to being knowledgeable. Thus, the definition of the word literacy evolved through time. Learning to do. Learning to do. How can knowledgeable and methods be incorporated and enhanced towards the development of skills? Learning by doing is a pragmatic view of life. Knowledge acquired is nothing unless applied in daily life. Learning to be. One of the most difficult things to do among the pillars is learning to be. It implies developing the potential of each individual. Continuing education must improve self-knowledge and self-esteem. Learning to live together. It refers to the relationship among people. It is bringing together a community to work harmoniously, to live in peace and prosperity, and to show respect and concern from others. It is also refers to interpersonal skills that will be enable people to live side by side with others at home, in school, in the community, and the whole world. All the pillars are interrelated with each other as the basic principle. One pillar will not function if it stands alone. There is a need to connect in order to address the 21st century demands for teaching and learning. How is literacy defined? UNESCO defined literate as the one who can with understanding both read and write a short, simple statement on his everyday life. It is also as the ability to identify, understand, interpret, create, communicate, and compute using printed and written materials associated with a varying context. Literacy involves a continuum of learning, enabling individuals to achieve their goals, to develop their knowledge and potential, and to participate fully in the community and the wider society. But with the changing global landscape, the literacy in the 21st century is not limited to the definition given previously. The 21st century literacy is as presented by the Simeo and Enotech and Goro 21 Module 2011. The 21st century literacies. The art and creativity. Creativity and innovation are the 21st century skills that in solving problems and creating artwork are part of this literacy. Eco-literacy, acquisition of knowledge about climate change, pollution, loss of natural habitats, and biodiversity. Solution on how these environmental problems could be addressed must be practiced. Cyber literacy or digital literacy, or information and ICT knowledge. Being in the rapid changes in the use of technology for teaching and learning, teachers and learners need to develop and enhance the use of digital gadgets, whether online or offline. Financial literacy, basic knowledge about the basis of economics and financial management. This is necessary for every learner and teachers to be able to handle income, expenses, and investment to be economically secure. Media literacy. The teachers and learners must learn how to discern about any information which are transmitted via various forms and media. Social and emotional literacy. Knowledge about social dimension and social skills are the appropriate in the context of society. Emotional intelligence must also be developed to be able to effectively manage the stresses due to the changing environments of the 21st century. Globalization and multicultural literacy. If you respect multicultural diversity, aware of the global trends, acknowledgement, differences and similarities, respect each other's dignity, then you are multicultural literate. In the summary of this lesson, these include the learning environment but is learner-centered, new spaces and borderless. It promotes creativity and innovation, and ICT facilities are available. Within the learning environment, the new content, the contexts are integrated and interdisciplinary and demand-driven. The content is about learning tools and how can retrieve knowledge and information and contents the balance and scientific, technological, cultural, and local concept and learning. How are these learned from the current global perspectives? The delivery modes can be face-to-face, distance, and virtual learning, blended and experiential lifelong learning. But the most important element in the landscape are the new learners. The new breed of learners are confident, independent, critical, self-directed, civic-oriented, and local, question, reflect, take responsibility, and live in the pop culture. We need to develop 21st century and life career skills. As a become the context of learning, we should evolve the new teacher. The teacher are quality teachers who have clear standards of teaching and learning, accountable for students' learning, use broad pedagogies, are skillful in the use of ICT and assessment of learning. All the new qualities of the both learners and teachers are addressed in the UNESCO's Pillars of Learning based on Jacques Delors' learning, the treasure from within. Teaching and learning will be defined by the pillars as learning to know, learning to do, learning to live harmoniously together, and learning to be.